4 days without a hockey game for the Winnipeg Jets seemed a bit odd, but given how condensed this season's schedule has been, but it was definitely necessary. Paul Maurice talked about the stretch between March 6th and about April 18th or so as going to be one of the defining points of the regular season for the Winnipeg Jets. While they went 14-9-2 in that stretch, but they also got the reward, the payoff, if you will, a little bit of rest before going into tonight's game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And to be perfectly honest, I got a little bit of rest, a bit of a haircut. It was nice. You know, you just feel better. You feel fresh coming into tonight's game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Welcome to the JetsTV Live Pregame Show presented by Budweiser. I'm, of course, Mitchell Clinton. Happy to have you along. Lots to come on the show in this one. The Jets may be coming off a loss on the schedule on Saturday, way back when, against the Edmonton Oilers. But these 4 days have almost kind of wiped the slate clean, and Paul Maurice says that rest has given him a group that he feels is probably about as rested of a group as he's ever had going into the final push of the regular season. It seems weird. There's only about 11 games to go in this 56-game season, but for some reason, it just always feels like there's more, and then all of a sudden you're into this final stretch going into the postseason. Lots to come, as I said on the show. Jamie Thomas is going to stop by. We have another Healthcare Hero to award, plus the Jets Gear Save of the Game. So let's get rolling to make sure you take advantage of some opportunities to win some prizes. That, of course, means it's time to check in to win, delivered by Skip the Dishes. To participate, all you have to do is download or open the Winnipeg Jets app, and you can play interactive games like Jets IQ Trivia for a chance to win an Aviator jersey and the Over-Under Challenge, where you could walk away with a $50 Jets Gear gift card. Plus, just for checking in, you are automatically entered for a chance to win a $100 Skip gift card. Lots you can do with that. Now let's slide into the matchup board to see how these two teams compare, because it has been a little while since they've last played. The Jets' penalty kill is 17 for 19 against Toronto this season, and if you look at the last 5 matchups, it's a perfect 16 for 16. Now, the Jets didn't score on the power play in the 3-0 loss to Edmonton. Of course, they didn't score at even strength either. That snapped a 4-game stretch where the Jets had 6 power play goals in those 4 games. They've been held off the score sheet in consecutive games on the power play, only 3 times this year. They're looking to avoid a 4th tonight. Now, you look at the Toronto penalty kill numbers at 75.6%. That's 28th in the National Hockey League. Meanwhile, their power play scored 4 times since March 4th, which has their power play slipping to 10th in the National Hockey League at 22.3%. However, Toronto does have power play goals in back-to-back games, so the Jets do not want to feed into that momentum whatsoever. Moving to the projected lines, a familiar name, Blake Wheeler on the right wing with Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele. Obviously, Wheeler missed the last 6 games with a concussion, but he spoke on Tuesday about how important those extra few days were for him, just to not only ensure he's good to go, but also to get in some practice time with his teammates. As much as, you know, him and Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor have worked well together, they've only played together in 5 games this year, and that was back in January. So a little bit of time in practice for those 3 to get some work in is always important. Now, with Wheeler back, Kopp goes back to his spot alongside Adam Lowry and Matthew Perreault. That's Mason Appleton. On the right wing, Perreault goes with Nate Thompson and Trevor Lewis. Also on the blue line, circle the name Jordy Ben as he gets his Jets debut tonight. He's slotting in alongside Dylan DeMello, who's had a number of defensive partners this season. Finally, we go to the standings. Things have happened over the course of the last 4 days. Toronto is winless in 5, so their lead in the North Division has dwindled a little bit. And if things go the Jets' way the next 2 games against the Toronto Maple Leafs, they could find themselves tied with the Maple Leafs for top spot in the North by the end of the week. But Toronto has had success in Winnipeg so far this season, winning both of the previous matchups in Bell MTS Place so far. So that's a lot of talking for me at this point. It's time to get a little bit of help, and when we need help on the JetsTV Live Pregame Show presented by Budweiser, we go up top to Jamie Thomas. Color commentator Jamie Thomas of 680 CJOB joining the show. And Jamie, let's get right into it. Blake Wheeler returns tonight, and so does a very familiar line combination for the Winnipeg Jets with Connor, Scheifele, and Wheeler. What are your thoughts on that trio and, of course, the return of the captain?
Well, first off, if I like to tell people a lot about Paul Maurice, if you listen closely to him all year long, which you do because you're always transcribing all the media availabilities, Mitch, and I give you a lot of credit for that, he seems to telegraph things that are going to happen down the road. And he did mention eventually he was going to get Wheeler, Scheifele, and Connor back together, and lo and behold, here they are. And why not? You've had a lot of success with this group. They're very good on both ends of the rink. Wheeler loves playing with Scheifele and vice versa. So first off, you have a well-rested Blake Wheeler. Now, he could have played against the Edmonton Oilers in the first game of this 5-game homestand, But the Jets thought it would be better to get him back in when they had a couple of practices and then allow him to go into the series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So you're getting a well-rested, probably fully healed Blake Wheeler after that elbow that he took from Brady Tkachuk, which I give Wheeler a lot of credit to. He didn't knock Tkachuk for the elbow, which he very well could have, and probably a lot of us probably thought that he could have. He had every right to do so, but he thought better of it and moved on from it. So to have him back in the lineup and fully healthy and ready to go can only benefit the Winnipeg Jets. And then the line itself, perfect timing for them as they go up against the Toronto Maple Leafs here this evening. So you can't help but look forward to seeing what the captain has in the gas tank after a long stretch away from the team. And he pointed out when he was away, it was actually easy to watch because he knew the players that they had in the lineup were able to keep things going. They went 4-2 without Wheeler in the lineup. So I think that he's happy, he's well rested, and ready to go tonight.
Speaking of ready to go, Toronto has Nick Foligno playing tonight. He's making his Maple Leafs debut. But also speaking of debuts, Jordy Ben gets in the lineup for the Winnipeg Jets tonight. Yeah,
and as pointed out by my broadcast partner, Paul Edmonds, he is the senior member of the Winnipeg Jets Blue Line now with over 540 games in the National Hockey League. So there are, of course, going to be problems. Paul Maurice pointed this out to us today. You know, he comes from the Vancouver system. There are different nuances in the way the Jets run their defense. So when he goes back to get the puck, he's going to be thinking instead of just reacting like he ordinarily would, despite the fact that he's played so many games. But you can't help but think when you're trying to learn a new system. He's only really been in 2 practices with his new teammates. So maybe we'll see a couple of mistakes maybe here and there, but he solidifies a defense that is now kind of has 8 guys you can kind of go with. And you got to go with Dylan DeMello here. Not feel for him, but give credit to Dylan DeMello because he's had 3 defense partners. He's had Billy Hainel, Logan Stanley, and now Jordy Ben in the lineup beside him. And that speaks to how well Dylan DeMello is playing right now, that Paul Maurice trusts him so much to put these guys in the lineup with him. But as for Jordy Ben, he's seen everything. He's been around. He's played in some big games. So I think there's high expectations for Jordy Ben, but don't expect too much here in the first game tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Nikolai Ehlers has 8 points against the Maple Leafs this season, tied for the team lead against the Toronto Maple Leafs with none other than Neil Pionk, of course, the defenseman. What's led to Neil Pionk's success?
Well, I think another person that, before I get to that, Mitch, is that's going to be benefiting from this long rest is Neil Pionk because of all the minutes. He plays such hard minutes against the other team's best forwards night in and night out, takes a pounding every night because other teams target him when they dump the puck in, try to wear him down a little bit, and maybe showed some wear and tear before he went on this point streak where he's got 6 or 5 assists in his last 6 games. You know what? It's working on the power play for him. Of course, the Jets forwards help things out a little bit, and that leads to better rushes up the ice. He's very good at finding ways to get the puck to the front of the net, so good deflections in front of the net for Jets forwards on his shots from the point. There's just so many things that Neil Pionk does well, and you got to love the fact that he, along with every one of his Jets teammates, have that 4-day break before this game against the Maple Leafs. He's skating well. He's healed up a little bit here, and of course, you're not going to break up the incredible duo of him and Derek Forbort, who have just been so solid for the Winnipeg Jets all year. And the fact the points are going in now for Neil Pionk says everything about him. And on top of that, one of 5 players in the National Hockey League to have over 20 points and 100 hits, joining Adam Lowry in that department. So an elite club for Neil Pionk, playing so well and well rested ahead of this game tonight.
Just another stellar season for Neil Pionk on the Jets Blue Line, hoping obviously that continues as the regular season goes on. Jamie Thomas, thanks so much.
Anytime, my friend.
Many thanks to Jamie Thomas of 680 CJOB. Of course, you can hear him and Paul Edmonds, as he mentioned, every Jets game day on 680 CJOB. The Winnipeg Jets are proud to honor local healthcare professionals for their vital work throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Tonight, our Winnipeg Jets healthcare heroes are members of the Saul and Clarabelle Simpkins Center Personal Care Home Isolation Room. The team put their own health and well-being at risk to care for all isolating residents. Congratulations to the Simpkins Center Isolation Room team, and thank you for your dedication to the health of our community. Sliding to the season seat holder of the game, that's Christine Ross. She's tonight's Winnipeg Jets season seat holder of the game at home. Thumbs up to that. She's been a season seat holder since 2011, so we thank her for that. And Christine received an autographed 10-year anniversary Kyle Connor Jets jersey. Congratulations and thank you on behalf of the Winnipeg Jets. Well, we've done top 10 saves, we've done top 10 goals. Now it's time for the top 10 games as we look back at some of the memories that have happened over the course of the 10 years that the Winnipeg Jets have now been back in Winnipeg. There have been many, and certain games stand out to different people for many different reasons, as we found out when we were trying to compile this list. Maybe it was the crowd, a particular ovation after a goal, a furious comeback, or just a really meaningful victory in the postseason. We tried to compile it all into a list, so here's the first half from 10 to 6.
Gordon for Sorensen. Good save made by Connor Hellebuck. Where to go with it? Right back in front of the net for Gregor. He played that to the front of the net and a couple of whacks. At the line, shot save made. LeBanc to the goal line center. The Winnipeg Jets will defeat the San Jose Sharks 3-2, despite the fact they were outshot 53-19. Connor Hellebuck, stellar.
What a scene in Winnipeg, Manitoba, as we get set for Game 1 of the West Final.
And back comes Mark Scheifele, dropping in behind him. Buffalo shoots, he scores! Wheeler, high pass to Laine, he scores!
Blocked by Trouba, the Winnipeg Jets take Game 1.
Before Sunday's Heritage Classic in Winnipeg, the legends and icons of yesteryear for the Oilers and Jets franchises took the ice for the alumni game. The top two scorers in NHL history suited up for Edmonton. Just a couple of guys named Gretzky and Messier, as they faced off with former Jet stars, including Dale Hawerchuk and Teemu Selanne.
I mean, that's still beautiful to watch, right? Selanne, that speeding stride, and a Selanne Hawerchuk goal.
Well, it's a lot of fun, I'll tell you that. We played these guys many times, and it's been a long time, but I think everybody's having fun doing it again.
Whiteout conditions at Bell MTS Place for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And Eriksson Ek eventually wins the puck, and then he is tattooed by Bufflin. Keeping an eye on Patrick Laine. Into the slot, score! Mark Scheifele from Blake Wheeler. Ehlers banks it back to the left point to Morrow. The block scores! And what a big goal for Joe Morrow. With 7:13 to go, the Jets are up 3-2. So this incarnation of the Jets win their first playoff game in history.
Got to get a new stick. It's a 3-on-2. Nylander, Tavares in front. What a play there by Laine. And he sends Roslovic away on a breakaway. 2-on-0. Laine, Roslovic. Great save by Anderson. Running out of time. He's told to shoot it. He does. And this game's going to a shootout. William Nylander in on Hellebuck. And he tried to slide it underneath him and couldn't do it. Now a chance for Wheeler to win the game for Winnipeg. In on Anderson. Stops up. Scores.
Well, let's hope the Jets and Maple Leafs put on a similar show like that one. I remember that game vividly. We were down kind of by the dressing room waiting to go in because the Jets had a 1-goal lead in the final seconds of the game and one defensive zone face-off, and it was in the back of the net, and all of a sudden we were privy to the wildest overtime I think I've ever seen, and then just a real entertaining shootout. So stay tuned for the second half of that list, the top 5, on a future pregame show presented by Budweiser. Let's slide into the episode 103 of the Ground Control podcast. It dropped this week. Jordy Ben stops by to chat about the trade to Winnipeg and what it's been like in his short stint with the team so far. You can listen to Ground Control on WinnipegJets.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And Jets fans, now's the time to buy your tickets for the Winnipeg Jets 50-50 presented by PlayNow.com. Buy yours online before the end of the third period of today's game to be included in the draw. The winner will take home half the jackpot with all proceeds in support of the True North Youth Foundation. Buy your 50-50 tickets now at WinnipegJets.com/5050. That's WinnipegJets.com/5050. And finally, tonight's save of the game, all in-stock Aviator alternate jerseys are 50% off. Men's, women's, and kids' jerseys are available at any of our Jets Gear locations and online at TrueNorthShop.com. That offer is valid until April 23rd, so you're running out of time. That's 50% off all Aviator alternate jerseys. Jets Gear, shop where the players shop. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Jets TV Live pregame show presented by Budweiser. We'll be back after the game with the Jets TV Live postgame show, also presented by Budweiser, for all the highlights, the postgame interviews, and all the analysis after the game. We'll see you then.